that looks like we have managed to go live, so that's always a good starting point. Pop that onto there. Excellent. That can go there, that can go there. Hopefully we can then see what we're up to. And let's just see who's joining us. Someone has, so that's always positive. Let's double that. Good afternoon, Jan. Hello, Dee. Welcome, welcome. So I was watching the lovely Liz Wheeler on Hobby Maker just before I went live, so that's why I'm a little kerfuddled at the moment, but there we are. Good afternoon, Faith. Welcome, welcome. So last week we made a storage box from Mad Hatters, Crafty Hatters, and I added the pieces at the side as I said I would. Popped the cats and things on. That's a bit wonky, but hey ho, and just added a little bit more white to everything. Good afternoon, Sheila. Welcome, my darling. And so today, she says, we're going to, the boxes come with a little insert for storage, and so today we're going to make a little album to go in that. And we're going to do it in a very simple way as an introduction, but it's quite an effective way of making albums. So I started by cutting two pieces of grey board, and I cut these to fit in the box. So that's actually 11.3, just conveniently or inconveniently, by 12.7, and that's just because that was then going to work nicely in my box and give me room. And then I've cut some pieces of paper, so that is 12.7, the height of the book, and then these are 23 centimetres long or just under, and then scored in half. So that's just going to give me pieces to put together to do that. So I've got one, and then so this piece is the height of the book, 2 inches wide, scored in the middle, so that will go there, and then I can link these together like so. And this one is just the width of the A4 cut at 12.7 and then folded with an extra piece to make a little flap, if that makes sense. And then I've got another piece, so we're just having a very simple thing. So let us just shuffle that lot out of harm's way for the time being, and then let's get these covered up. How you cover these is entirely, and the method you use is entirely up to you. So let me just grab some papers from my collection. Let's see if this piece will be big enough. I'm not too sure whether it will or whether it won't be, but let's go with it. So when you're working out a piece to cover, you need to have a piece of paper. I'm going to cover some of this anyway, so there we are, there. With a piece to cover round and go round the sides of your piece. So I'm thinking actually if I cut these as two 6x6 pieces, I'm going to have plenty. So this is just a strip of 12-inch paper, and I think it's 6 inches wide. I haven't, darling, for the moment. My intention is to try and keep going and do both of them, so that we don't have too many sets of problems. That's the intention, but I don't know. I'm going to see how I feel. I retired to give my to have a life, and if I'm not careful, I'm not going to have a life, am I? I'm going to just be spending my entire time crafting. So I know I'm going to cover some bits on top of this anyway, so let me just hit this onto here. There we are. And I've just got, she says, a piece of black tape from my making earlier on. We'll get rid of that. Good evening, Deirdre. Welcome, welcome, or good afternoon even. There we are. So this is just some PVA glue in a bottle to make life easy. We'll pop that there. I'll pop that sort of into the middle of there. Give that a little squiddle and let that settle down. And we're going to do the same. I quite like that butterfly, so I'm going to think, there we are. It might not be. That's going to work better. That's not going to work so well. There we are. So we'll pop that onto there, and that can work for the base. There we are. So I'm just giving myself a border to work with. So I've got some edges to curve to take over the sides of my grey board. There we are. So let's just pop that down onto there, onto there. There we are. Give that a little push. Make sure it has had a chance and it's well stuck down. It's nothing worse than covers that aren't very well stuck down. There we are. Cool. And then, not particularly great at mithering, but because of the way I'm filling these papers, it's actually not going to matter too greatly. So let's just, so I'm going to deliberately, if we look at this, let me grab a pencil, one with a blade in it is always helpful, isn't it? So this is the end of my chipboard, is here. And I want a little bit extra, so I'm just going to just mark a little bit extra, and that's approximately the width of the chipboard away. As I say, it won't matter too hugely because of the things, but it's important that you just leave that little gap when you're doing these covers. Because it just will make life much easier for you for covering, and you can cut in the excess anyway. So let's just have a little bit there. I tend to work opposite corner to opposite corner. That's just the way I want it to sit around. So if I do that up, roll it down, give it a little push, that will help that sit really neatly onto there. Let me just grab a cloth and deal with that squidge. Again, it won't matter. There we are, get rid of that. So as I say, up onto its side, roll it down and over, and you'll just get a really nice neat edge by doing that. If that makes sense. Hello Miss Edie, welcome. Hi. Who else is joining us? Oh, we've got 12 ladies on. We've got Joanne, welcome. Hello Elaine. Hello Danka. Thank you very much, my darlings. Welcome, welcome. Please feel free to tag anyone that you might be interested, or anyone that you might or share it to any pages that you might want to share it to spread the love. So in this corner I've got a little nubbin, and I'm just going to knock that in with my finger, covering myself in glue, but that's okay. And I'm going to do the same at that end. I'm just going to knock it in, and then I'm going to repeat that at that side. So I'm just pushing it down, hooking my nail over the edge of the grey board, tucking it down, and then I can do that roll and fold, and that roll and fold will really help. Get rid of that piece. So roll and fold, it just means that you've got your paper really tight up against your edges. And I clearly haven't got enough glue on there, so there we are. Let's just, we'll roll and fold. There we are. Give that a hello, Joanne. Welcome, my darling. There we are. So that's one piece. There we are. And we can do the same on here. So just give yourself a little bit of a mark, a couple of millimeters away from the corners. It will just make your life that much easier for getting the pieces down. Like that way. Excellent. Okay. So we'll have that. Hello Anne, I'm very well today, my darling. Thank you very much for asking. There we are. So let's just have, yeah, I'm being relatively generous with my glue, but that's okay. So roll and fold. Give it a little push. Roll and fold. So we're getting nice neat edges. We're just repeating. Knock that corner in, knock that corner in, knock that in. So it's tight up against it. It just allows you to cover those corners nicely. Get rid of the little bits of scrappy bits that are in the way. There we are. And we'll carry on. There we are. So roll and fold. So this is quite an effective way of building an album, not necessarily using masses and masses of paper. I'm still working with the same 12 by 12 pad that I did, I used for the house. There we are. Okay. There we are. So, are those correct? Those are correct. There we are. So you can see that I've got nice corners, easily done. So let us pop this together now. So I'm going to take, and it's designed to fit quite tight to the book. So I'm just going to take a little bit of glue. So it's an accordion fold. There's lots of different ways of constructing these, but they open up better or more evenly when these fit the inside cover. So there we are. We just have a piece there. Let's just give that a little push down. Make sure that it's properly adhered onto there. There we go. So that's going to be the back. Well, that's clever. That's going to be the back of our book, but that's fine. That's all right. So I have another piece of tape. So this is just a height of the book, 2 inches wide, scored at 1 inch. It's just going to give me a joining piece. And when you're doing this, it's important that you line it up accurately to the edge. There we are. I'll give that a little burnish down. There we are. You can work front to back if that's easier. Let's pop that down onto there. Give that a little burnish so that is now reasonably flush with the edges. Give it a little wriggle. There we are. Okay. So there we are. So we're going to pop that now. Onto there and line that up neatly. We might add a couple more pages. On the other hand, we might not. that piece is going to act as a pocket long term, so we're going to pop that onto there anyway, but I'm deliberately not going to seal it, and I need to just move that over, just shuffle it over just a little bit. The joy of wet glue is I can do that quite nicely without. Okay, and then we can take another one of our strips. There we are. Does the express glue? Yes, yes it does. It's got a little bit of wriggle room, but once if you just leave it unmeddled with for more than 30 seconds, it will glue down. So it gives you a little bit of wriggle room, my darling. If you want lots of wriggle room, then you're probably better off using an ordinary PVA craft glue. So yeah, I'll pop that into there. Pop this onto here, and you can you can add into here as many pieces as you want to. So you can make these books very, very, customise them to your heart's content. So if you're wanting more pieces, more layers, then that's what you can do. Did I cut myself an extra big piece to do another one? No, so I have done some prep. There we are. So this is going to give me 1, 2, a pocket, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the other side. So relatively small, but it works quite well. And let me just make sure that that's going to work nicely on there. And then we'll do a little bit of painting, and then we're going to do a little bit of decorating, or quite a lot of decorating. There we are. But I'm just then going to pop this to the side, let it dry while we do some painting, because I want to add some extra bits to the covers. So let me just pop that down there, pop that into there, pop that to there. There we are. And I can give this all a good push together. Hello Alison, welcome. Good afternoon Sophie, welcome my darling, welcome, welcome. We're clocking up some numbers now, which is always lovely to see, not absolutely necessary. So that can go over there, that can go over there. You could clip these together whilst they're drying. So I'm going to add one of these, I think, onto the front and the back covers. Obviously 2 is way too many, so but I think 1 on the front and 1 on the back will be lovely. I do have some add-on bits, but and I do have a couple of little cats, so we might do the cats, but I think I might not do the rest of these, because if I pop that onto there, I could add another piece, but then that orchid's facing upside down, so which isn't the look that I'm wanting. Having said that, if I use my brain, which of course would be dangerous, there we are, we can pop that onto there, and we could put that on this way. I've just got some extra bits of bonding primer off the edges of these pieces, which is what I'm giving a little shape. So these are just resin pieces, but actually I think it's just going to be too busy, and I've managed to miss the bonding primer there, so that will not necessarily use that. We might just be simplified and not put one on the front and the back. How's that for changing your plans as you go along? But that will give us less messing about. And did I get black paint out? Oh, I've got some black paint out. It's always good, isn't it? So I'm using Stamperia Orchids today. I have powder blush, and I have pale pink, the same colours that I had out last week, and that's because clearly we are I want it to work inside the album that I've got. There we are. I might have Have I got two out the same colour? Possibly. She says, rubbing her nose as it's about to drip. Let me just grab a second pink because I have looked about the same. I want some shading. There we go. Maybe not. Anyway, there we are. We will go with what we've got to hand because that seems like a logical thing to do today. There we are. So let us just add some colour onto our flowers. We will dry brush over the top anyway. So this is just my preferred acrylics for this project, but there we are, we'll just add a little bit onto there. But you could use whatever you wanted really, colour wise, because you know, normal colours or complete fantasy depending on what you felt like. I'm obviously choosing these because they work better with the overall look of the project. But there we are. Quick painting, doesn't have to be reasonably covered. I don't want it to look messy long term for obvious reasons, because it's not. I do like my pieces to look as if they're nicely finished, but equally I don't want to be here for hours. There we are. So did anyone watch Liz on TV on Hobby Maker, or were we all busy doing other things? There we are, we've got a little bud there to cover. There we are. Well, I add a little bit of green onto that long term. There we are. Let's let that one dry. We'll pop that into there. And we'll do the white back technique for these that we did last week. Again, because I'm wanting it to coordinate. Faith, you know, it's always here for re-watching, isn't it, my darling? You know, life carries on, and you know, we don't all have the luxury of being able to necessarily watch uninterrupted. My lovely husband is going to be cooking roast pork for dinner today for us. That's quite handy. So there we are. So the white back technique. She's finished, darling. She's back on at 7, I think. There we are. So let's just have a little bit. This white is too wet, so let me just do that. And I think that's exactly what happened last week, wasn't it? It was too wet, and I resorted to using a piece of kitchen towel to give me better control over what I was lifting off. Because there we are. You can see it gives a slightly different result with the kitchen towel. There we are. Doesn't take quite so much off when we're working. As I say, we're not. This is more about doing these while that cover has a chance to settle down, and then we're going to do some bits and pieces on the inside. I've got some fussy cuts already. That's always cool. Hello, Joanne. Welcome, my darling. Who makes it? What? Liz makes it look easy. Yeah, she's very talented. Very, very talented. She tries to convince me it's easy. There we are. I remain unconvinced. But who knows? I might try my hand at some folk art painting. I'm sure I can get her to give me a lesson. To be fair, she has already given me a lesson, and then we haven't had a chance to catch up and practice since. Hi Joanne, welcome my darling, thank you for joining me today. There we are. There. Now then, let's get rid of that black paint before it gets over everything. Bee will be unhappy with me for throwing that away, but that's life. I'm just going to give these a little bit of a whiz and then carry on with these. There we are. Hello Marisol, I didn't see you joining my darling, welcome. So that the cat mould is from Orchids and Cats by Stamperia. These are some different ones, I think, to the ones that I used on the cover. There's lots of different cats in that mould. You see, I'm going to get stuff everywhere each way, aren't I? I really am. I need another coat of pink on this, so just bear with while I get this dry and get rid of that black paint off my hand, because black paint, white papers, not a good combination at all. And we need to decorate. I'm very well, my darling, thank you very much. I hope that Andorra is treating you to some nice spring weather, and that maybe you've still got some snow on some of the higher mountains, but maybe less elsewhere. Thank you, Marisol. And thank you, Jen. There we are. Oh, there we are. Right, good. Because as I say, black paint will get every which way. Most can go over there. I rarely, if I'm using pent-up paints, do I have to go back over. But it's very clear to me that with the Allegros, that particularly the paler colours, I don't get such a great coverage. There we are. Give that a little good one. Foggy, sandy, oh dear, sandy air doesn't sound very good at all. There we are. So let us just add a bit more onto there. We'll bring out the detail. I'm going to bring out all the details with some dry brushing anyway, so that won't be such a problem. There we are. That's covered reasonably well. Just go back over the areas that I'm not happy with. It's amazing what dry brushing will do to this. But this is a very gentle, quiet piece today. It's not it's not. We will get those sides because they'll irritate me if I don't get those now. There we are. We'll just have little caps on some of those buds. There we are. Cool. Hopefully. Yeah, because that's going to be that. So let's just get rid of that before we end up with pink every which way. And did I use? Yeah, I did use. I did. Good griefy. That's. I think this pot is definitely going to be on its way out. There we are. So pentart acrylics are water-based mediums, which means that the water can evaporate, but it also, and the paints go thick. Unless they're absolutely solid, then you can rejuvenate them by adding some water and mixing it in. You know, I use my paints an awful lot. There we are. That's a better painting consistency. Let's just shovel that there. That brush is too big for what I want to do, so let's just pop that over there and pick a nice. My husband's making sounds over there. There we are. Let's just pick a nicer brush. Maybe not that brush. Maybe we'll go for this one. Maybe this one. Oh no, that's horrible. Right, we'll go for the small one. Small and delicate. and a bit of patience. There we are. More dry brush on it anyway, so some of those edges will get disguised. You could do these, I guess, all in green if you wanted to. There we are. Make your life easy. Why make your life easy? Why not? There we are. Right. So just to be plain, there is a thin stem coming up there. So I've done over the top, and then I'm going to tilt my piece so I can come in from the side to get the inside of that. And to do the other side, we're just going to turn it round. So make your life easy. You know, don't try contorting because it doesn't work. You can then there's no point in trying to be a contortionist, is there, when you don't need to be? So it's all right, you know, it's not such a problem when you're doing bigger areas. But if you going down into gullies to get added details and textures, then actually it makes a big difference. Just turning your piece, turning your hand, letting your hand work in a way that's ergonomic, so it's easy to pick up the top with it on the top, but then turn it over onto the side, and then you can pick up the edges there, like that, and we'll turn it round. And I'm going to turn it round to here because that's just going to be better for me for this angle, I think. Yeah, like that. Hello Anna, welcome. I missed you on Annie's broadcast yesterday. Don't want the whole of that. I want just the tip of that to be pink, as if it's just about to come out into bloom. So, there we are. Cool. Let me just keep that. There we are. Let's just pop that brush safely up there, and that can be wiped up, and that might be the limit of our painting today. I know, horror of horrors. But let me get this dry. There's no point in dry brushing when things are wet. In fact, we don't even need to do that, do we? Let us use a brain, because brains are difficult. So let me pop that up there, out of harm's way, and then we can just do some extra decorating of our book, because leaving it plain would just be too boring, wouldn't it? There we are. Let's get that cleared up. Right. So, our book. And because I've got these right up to the edges, it's going to open nice and flat for me. And because I've got half a plane equally, I am just going to remeasure this. So that is about 11.5 by 12.7. So I'm going to go 12.2 by 11 for my pages, and then I can disguise that mess that I've made, because mess we have made. So we want 1, 2, let's do we'll do them page by page. How's that? being a bit of a rain. Let's see what other bits we've got. We might use up some of these scraps along the way. So we have some scrap pieces and we have some other pieces. And a lot of this is going to get covered. So I'm going to pick up the backgrounds. So I know that I need it to be, she says, because she's already forgotten, 12.2 high. And that means out of a piece of paper I'm going to get quite a lot. 12.2. It'll give me a little rim of white. 12.2 high. There we are. That's going to sit onto there. That's going to sit onto there. Give that a move over, and then this will determine the size of my next pieces. Hello, Sarah John. Welcome. There we are. So that is 10.8. So let's have another piece that's 10.8. There we are. Pop that over there. And then we want 12.2. 12.2. 10.8. Excellent. Pop that piece over there. Some of those pieces can be used for other things, and then we will cut some more pieces anyway. So that's cool. So I'm going to pop that onto there, and I have a dye-based ink pad from Stamperia, which hopefully will coordinate with the collection because it's designed to work with the collection. Well, that's the theory anyway, isn't it? Whether it does is a moot point, but that is the theory. So these are the Vicky Papino dye-based ink pads, but any dye-based ink pad will work. And of course, it's a coordinated, it's a coordinating colour, so actually it's working very nicely for me. So that one can sit neatly into there. I don't need a pocket on there. I could put a pocket if I wanted to, but we're not going to. But you can make these in any size you want. That's the joy, isn't it, of being able to make. So you just need to measure your base pieces and then work from there. So let's just give that a little gentle push down, and then we might want to have a photo mat on there. But I think I might pop that into there whilst the going is good. And then we'll do some photo mats. There we are. Oh. I remember the clips in the UK a few years ago, watching that, and the temperature, everything went quiet. All the birds disappeared to their trees where they would roost at night, and then it just went really, really, really quiet. And then the temperature dropped, and and then it went pitch black. So it's an interesting experience. So I'm wanting to add a photo mat. So that is, let me measure it. That is 3 1/4, which is quite nice. And I think I might do 3 1/4 by, and I'm thinking 4. 3 1/4 by 4, and I can always trim a little bit off. I'm just using a PVA glue. Martin, a simple PVA glue. It's called, the bottle I've got open is Express Glue, but you know, any PVA glue will work. So there we are. That will sit quite nicely in there. So let's put that into there. I don't want bright white background edges, because that equally wouldn't be very nice. So let's just add a little bit of that onto there. And this is another, this is a stamp set also from Vicky Papino's ranges. So I've managed, I think, to lose one, but hey ho, that's just also part of life. So let's just take that and that, I think. And I did have out a blue ink pad, I know, yeah, but there's more blues on the pad than there are greens, so we're just going to have a little bit of artistic license. So there we are, a little bit of that. A little bit of that, a little bit of that. They're quite wet ink pads, it has to be said, and we'll add a little bit of text stamping. Let's hope that this is up the right way, because it's never quite guaranteed. There we are. Something you'll see me do quite a lot of. There we are. So that goes on there, that goes on there, that one can go over there. Oh, I don't want to end that. Oopsie daisy. Oh dear, oh dear. There we are. We'll cancel that, because ending it's not quite what we intend to do. Let's mop up that ink before it gets every which way, because that's what will happen if we're not very careful, and we'll pop that away. So we have the stamps out that we're going to use for our make. We have a little photo mat here. We can pop this onto there. Good round the corners if you want to, but you don't have to. You don't, you know, it's entirely up to you. This is not a complicated piece. You could add some bits of lace onto it. Again, I'm deliberately not choosing to overly add onto here today. There we are. But I do have some fussy cut elements, so let's see what we've got. So some of these, because they've come from the big pad of paper, are possibly just a little bit too big, but actually quite like that. So I'm just going to add that, just get a little bit of an edge, and then I'm just going to tuck that into that corner there, because that seems like a nice idea to me. It's just going to add just a little bit of interest into that edge. And if I found a little word that would work, then that might work. Like go, I don't particularly want things that are too bulky, because of the nature of the album. So we might leave the words out of it. So that gives me that piece, and let me see what I did, because I had the other piece of this piece of paper. Got more paper out, so that's also not a problem. So we've had 3 1/4 by 4. You know, that's what happens, isn't it? Is that 3 1/4? Yay! I don't know what my lovely husband's doing, but he's certainly messing about. There we are. Tell you what, whilst that's out, we'll just do that, do that. I'm assuming that's the same. So we're actually going to score this one rather than, hello Trina, we're going to score that one, and then we can cut it at 8. And then I'm going to have a flap that will come up and down. There we are. we can add a little bit more interest now onto this piece. So this is just a way of, there we are. Okay, so this is going to be the inside of this piece. So let me just burnish it on both sides. There we are, because that will make it easier. Hello, Liz. There we are. Right, so let me grab. So if you put pop-ups or flip-flaps into your albums, then you need to have some way of keeping the pieces shut. Otherwise they tend to end up looking a bit tacky. So that's approximately 1.5 centimetres in from the bottom. That can go into there, that can go into there. And now I can take this piece. Wasn't very in the middle, was it? So that's on the back. This is going to go on the front, and we'll cover this piece with paper and we'll stamp on the inside of here. There we are. So I now need a little piece of paper, and that's where some of these scraps will come into use. So I'm going to cut that 3 1/4. So it was 3 1/4, so I'm going to go 3 inches by 3 3/4. So I'm just knocking off about a centimetre all round. We can then add a little bit of ink around the edges. Once you've started to add ink, you absolutely need to continue to add your inks. So that can sit onto there. There's a little bit more interest. Yeah, it'd be lovely. She's very, very talented. There we are. She'll be sitting in the green room. There we are. That can go into there. I can flick that red liner tape, but you just, yeah, it doesn't matter to me that it's a bit wonky donk from that point of view. It's just to hold this piece shut. If you're a fanatical, then you would obviously let's just get that all the way around there. Let's just add some ink around the edge. Whilst that dries, we're going to add some ink. You can see how well that magnet is holding, so we can add some more ink onto here. There we are. Make sure I can see it and I'm not being stingy with that. So that's going to go there, that's going to go there, that will go into there. So we're going to add some extra bits of detail into the inside of this. So we've got a slightly bigger area. Let me see what we've got. So we've got butterflies. They're all together, just bigger than I really want them to be, and that's because they've come from that paper pack. So I think I might just I'll tell you what we might just do. Because I happen to know that the there we are. So let us just add, I think we'll just add a little bit of a rub-on. We'll keep the other pieces for inside. So let's just put that safely out of the way. So we'll just tuck that so it's not floating. Add that into there. There we are. are. There we are. That will work. That will work. I likey. Just adding little details. That piece can go onto there. There we are. Click that off there. So we'll be. So you've got mucky mitts already. There we are. But that gives me then, depending on what you want to do, another 2 spaces for some of the selfie cameras photographs. So that can then go onto there, or 3 depending on one you put up. So let's just see. We might just want a sentiment somewhere. I don't think I want the cats. They're too big. That's clearly too big for on there, and it's going to be, I think, the problem all the way around. There we are. Greetings. That might work. Do I want that one? There are always flowers for those who want to see them, and I'm thinking, oh, that one. Tell you what, let's go with memories. Seems like a sensible starting point. So if you get different sizes of your paper pads, then you will get a real mix of sizes, and sometimes that is useful to do, because if you're doing smaller projects you need less paper pads. If you're doing a project like this, but by the same token you're then going to find that you need to have more space, more pieces. Now I have bits left from covering the album the other day, so I can pop that into there and a piece onto there. So let me cut that too, she says, because half a brain. There we are. We've got too many things on this desk already, so we want this to be 12.2 by whatever it is, because it's going to tuck under here, then I can seal my pocket down. So let's just take this 12.2. So if you go measure as you go, just take your time building your layers, building your detail, then you'll get a piece that you're happy with at the end of the day, and that's ultimately the most important thing. Because there's pink in this paper, actually adding the pink doesn't matter into there. There we are. So I'm just going to pick up this. There we are. And this is one of the reasons why I left that pocket unfilled or unclosed when I was popping the album together, because it means that I can use up scraps of my paper. There we are. So let us just add a thin bead of glue down there, thin bead of glue down there, and close that down. And let's just give it a second or so to grab, and then we'll measure how big that pocket is. So it is 6.7 centimetres, so I need a piece that's 6.2 centimetres. Now then, inconveniently I think this is too small. That might be big enough, but I don't particularly want to use that. So let me just take this. So 12.2. Will give me the height, and 6.2. Excellent. I like it when a plan comes together. So I'm using my scraps by doing this, rather than having to get a new pad of paper out. Let's just ink the edges of that. Hello Sandra, welcome. There we are. I'm going to pop it that way, just because to me having that border on the edge works very nicely. Straightforward, simple pocket will sit quite nicely. Line those up, that can go there, and then let's take one of our mats and we can ink it. Got one proper and one smaller, and that's absolutely fine. So let's just, these don't need to be fancy, they just need to look pretty and provide a space for someone to put a photo or to write, depending on what they want to do. There we are. So that can go there, that can go there. Let's just add a little bit. So this ink pad is really quite wet. There we are. We'll sit there. Oh, didn't want to necessarily do that, but hey ho, we've got, you know, because we're a numbskull and we've picked up the blue ink instead of the pink, that will have to do. In fact, it won't have to do. It can go in the bin, because that wasn't what I wanted to do, and it was my own fault. It was. There we are. So we'll just get rid of that. Get rid of the blue off there. There we are. And start again, because why not? Right. We might just put one in. There we are. There we are. Right, now then, with that, before we repeat the same, it's very inconsiderate, Dee, but there you are, that's just life. There we are, that can go there, that can go there, that can go there, that can go there. Right. I really don't know what my loving husband's up to. There we are, we can chop that, and then we can have that into two places. Maybe it's not my husband. Aha, I can see, I hear what he's doing. He's putting some, do I want to pop that? Yeah, I'm going to pop that onto there. Hello Lynn, welcome. He's draft blocking is what he's doing. That can go onto there. That can go onto there. Let's just have a dry mat from there. There we are. So that can sit neatly into there, and it now looks quite pretty. There we are, and I wouldn't necessarily have got two in. And let's see what we've got in amongst this lot. So what I think, will that work? That will work nicely. That will work nicely, she says. Let's get rid of that and that. Yeah, it's going to be one of them days. It's in front of you, woman. There we are. So I just need to make sure I don't put glue over the whole of this, because I don't want to glue the little tuck-in spot. There we are. Okay. So 10.8 by 12.2. 10.8 times 12.2. Have I got enough there? Yeah. You see, this piece is literally just left over from, oh, that's very convenient, isn't it? 12.8. Is it 12.8? 12.2. 12.2. 10.8. There we are. Go into there. It does fit nicely, absolutely. So I'm using up the 12 by 12 I used last week, what I've got left, and then obviously any other pieces that I want to add. But I only got one 12 by 12 set, so from this collection, and I didn't want to buy another. I'm trying to, to behave. So here we might have a piece of paper. We might need another piece of white card. There we go. We have a pattern pad, another piece of white card, and that is 3 3¼ isn't it? So let's do our flap the opposite way for this one. Okay. So we're going to score, not cut, at 3¼ she says. Having that sitting down would be good. Cut at 6½. Okay. So with a bit of luck, we've got a little book that's about the same size, and that is 4. So that's a bit tall. So let's just chop that down to 4. There we are. And give that a good squash. And each flip and flap that you put in will be adding an extra layer of detail. Don't want that cat to go on the floor, so we'll pop that over there. So let us take 2 let me just lift over a pile of magnets. Okay. So I'm wanting, there's my book, there's that. So I'm going to, we can open it that way, or we can open it that way. I think I'm going to go for opening it that way. So there we are. Let's just pop one of those, put those two together so that they don't go walking around the place and pinging off, injuring anyone. Okay, I'm the only person in the room, so let's just put a little bit of tape, approximately 1.5 centimeters in from the side. Let's just pop that onto there. Let's take that book out of the way because I don't want to glue that in just yet. And then we can pop that onto there. So if you get your underneath one locked into place, and then you can just drop your second magnet over the top. These are minibook magnets from Amazon, so nothing fancy and nothing hugely expensive. So you need to be now 3 inches by 3 3/4. So let's see what we've got that might be approximately 3 inches by 3 1/4. So those two are going for the bases. So there we are. There's that here. I think we might take that scrap. rid of that bit. 3 3/4. Keep that piece, might find use for that. And there we are. Put that over. We can get rid of that, if she says. Now you could use tape for all of this, but with all the plastic around, it doesn't strike me as being a good move. At least this way, I'm using up. I'm not generating as much plastic rubbish as I might otherwise. So that can go over there. We'll give that a little squash down. I think one of the dangers of a paper crafter is that you end up with lots and lots of scraps, and it's very easy then to have your scrap box completely out of control, but then actually the bit, you then never find a use for the bits that you want, because I'm not a journaler, I'm not a junk journaler in any way, shape or form. Right, go and do that. So that's going to open that way. So I just need to think about that when I'm adding some detail, just to make sure that I have got it all imaged round the right way. There we are. That can go there, that can go there, and that's going to open up like that. So let's just pop a little something. What have we got? Let me just take out of here. Yeah, I think I'm going to pop it over there. To me that works better. I don't necessarily need to have stuff in every area. Depends a bit on what you've got, isn't it, and what you're wanting to use. That can go there, that can go there. So this can come over to here. Yeah, I think it does get out of control, Deirdre, and I've got to ultimately empty out my craft room later on this year. So I am trying to be reasonably, use my stuff up rather than necessarily getting it all out and not having scraps, not having stuff. So making a little album is quite a nice way of doing it. So just give that a little squash down, make sure it's nicely adhered into place, then that can sit there. And we've got some space here where we can add something if we want to. We've already established that quite a lot of the imagery is just way too big. But do I want that on there? I think I might actually take care of my flowers and my cats, and that's take care of my flowers and my cats, and that's living. That makes no sense, Stamperia. If you truly love nature, you will find beauty everywhere. That one will work. That one will work. I think you just have to be realistic as to what you're going to use. And I could just pop this 3 sides onto there, like that. Because it's going to give me a little tuck spot if I want to use it as a tuck spot. So for those that might not know what a tuck spot is, let's just grab another piece of card and we'll just chop a piece at random. So let's go 2.5. because it's not going to fit a very big piece in there, is it? Yeah, and you could corner around all of these if you wanted to. That would also work. So I'm just going to add this as a little tuck spot into there. And for me, it's these little details. I know that they might add a little bit of time to when I'm making, but they're going to just add just that little bit of extra interest into there. So that's, to me, will work, but it's too big, so I'm just going to chop that down. So I think that was 2.5. I'm just going to chop it down to 2. And you can say, does it matter? Well, to me it does. It does. We just want a little something. We'll re-edge that, and that then sits in there, to my eye, a little better than without, and that's very convenient. Because in the rub-ons there is a little butterfly that can just perch on that text. Yep, I think we all find things to do. There we are, so that can go into there. We'll give that a little rub down, and we've now got a flat pocket, a flap that goes up that way, an ordinary pocket, a book that opens out that way. So we now need 10.85, 12.2, and we need 2 more pieces. And I seem to think I might have already cut them. Okay, boy, wicked when a plan comes together. So that's too obvious. But that might well work for me. So let's just edge these. Yeah, the bookmarks would be quite a good suggestion, I think. Tell you what, we'll swap around. We'll swap about, just because it's my prerogative to change my mind, isn't it? There we are. Well, actually, not doing so bad. I've no idea what the time is, and actually I don't really mind what time it is, because it doesn't matter really, does it? There we are. I'll pop that onto there. And we'll ink this one. Well, I'm rather thinking that replacing the conservatory is going to be my getting a sort out of my craft stuff. I am bit by bit. I have a big pile that I just need to find a suitable box for, and then it will be donated, because I am conscious that I have stuff and that it would be criminal to throw when others could quite happily use. So let us quarter. By 4. There we are. Let's just tap in some of this blue. Little bit of that. Could add some splatters if you wanted to. That would work. There we are. central into there. Love is the flower given you've got to let grow. Oh, that's all right, isn't it? That's not too terrible, too smarmy-army. So that can just, and again, same principle. So that I can tuck a photograph in long term, I'm just going to add a little bit along the edges so that I can stick a photograph in there rather than not. And let me think. So 3 1/4. So let's take this down to 3 1/4. Three 3/4. Score 6, 7 1/2. And skirt. There we are. Oh, well, that wasn't intelligent, was it? I obviously can't do my maths properly. 3. Well, there you are. Well, let's just grab a piece of paper card. Of course, we've got plenty. Right. 3 1/4. Oh, that's probably not going to be long enough, is it? Let me go and grab a different piece of card because then needs an A4 card, and that's not A4. So 3 1/4. That's good. Right. Let us just measure it this time instead of guessing. For that'd be why, because we chopped an extra 1/4 inch off. So there we are. Go there. 4. Am I making my life easy? Probably not. Oh, absolutely. Completely agree. It's absolutely worth it, isn't it? There we are. Let's just double this back. There we are. Right. And then we'll grab a couple more magnets and pop that safely over there. So I'm really not going through that pile of okay. You didn't score it very well, but hey ho, there we are, that's life. Let's have the little bit underneath because it won't offend my eyes so much. And we'll do that. Hello, Joan. There we are. Approximately. Throw that onto there. I've still got plenty of paper to pick up from, but by using up the scrappy pieces first, then you end up with usable whole sheets for other things. So rather than just a little bit. Right, so we need a mat that it is 3 inches by 3 3/4, and we've established already that that's too small, but this piece won't be. This piece won't be. Actually, I might. Yeah, no, why not? 3 and she says. You see, I haven't cut everything out today just to be difficult because So 3 by 3 3/4. So let's just take a strip of this, 3 inches wide. Make sure it's reasonably straight on there. because I can use that for other things. And 3 3/4. There we are. That's going on that side, that's going on that side. That can go onto there. Here, I like it when a plan comes together. We'll go there. So yeah, nursing homes absolutely could use them, use scraps and leftovers. Children's hospices might, and children's hospital play therapy. You know, the play teams might well appreciate stuff because they don't get very big budget, and says for you, and I don't like for you as a sentiment for there, but I quite like the idea of that. Don't want that onto there. Let's see what we've got. Time spent with cats is never. See, I'm not a cat person. I did and ah. Yeah, why not? Whether to get this collection at all, because I'm so not a cat person. I know plenty of people are, but it's so not me. Yeah. But when sentiments don't work for you, just work out what else can you layer over the top. I'm deliberately not adding lots of dimensions to these because of it being an accordion fold album. There we are. And no one would be any the wiser that that sentiment that I didn't like is tucked into there. So if you're needing little quick grab books for, you know, to tuck around, then this is quite a good way of making something that will, you know, relatively quick, couple of hours possibly, maybe a bit longer, but you know. Now then, don't want that little piece there, and I don't want all of that because it's too big. And the rub-ons add a beautiful flat addition to your pieces, but they're relatively expensive. So if you can double them up by chopping them up, that's quite a useful activity. So I pulled that off when I didn't need to. It wasn't quite glued down. Pop that onto there. They do like to go onto a dry surface, I have to say, so you know, just be careful. And I can pop that piece down there. So I've only used one image, but I've split it into two places. There we are. And that can go into there, over there. Let's just tuck that out of the way. And then I can add some glue onto the back of that. And that can go. We've just got to let that glue wrap. And by popping a towel underneath it, we can cover some of that up. And those of you that are eagle-eyed will realise I haven't inked the outside of that, so let me just do that. There we are. Okay, so that is the back one. So we've got 4 more pages to do. That's okay. We are going to now tackle another piece of paper because we're going to need to. For that one. So, yeah. 10.8 by 10.8 by 12.2. Yeah, 10.8. I keep on forgetting the number. I'm not really with it today, am I, ladies? 10.8 at 12.2. 10.8. 12.2. Let's just see where that. Oh, that's convenient. 12.2. 10.8. I'm rather hoping by doing this we will not then have too much painful work. There we are, so that will work. And 12.2. There we are. 4 pieces. Like it when a plan comes together. There we are. Cool. Get rid of that, get rid of that. That's going back. That can go into there. So let's just pop that onto there. And let's have that one onto there. There we are. We're going to end up covering quite a lot of it, so actually it doesn't really matter. So let's just pop these down. Whilst the going's good, I'm going to pop these onto both of them. I could have been adding alternative flips and flaps, but you've seen me fold over pieces of paper to add flips and flaps that way, so I just thought the magnets might be a good learning activity. There we are. That's that one. So still staying true to my style of crafting with the layering, still with the flips and flaps, but just adding them in a slightly different way. There we are, that can go into there. There we are. And if you wanted, you could fussy cut any of these elements out on the big pages, you know, if they're left over as scrap pieces. There we are. Yeah, it is probably hard for anyone to give up stuff, but really sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and say enough is enough. Enough is enough. 20 years of accumulating has got to be decluttered. Right, so can't you see what have I done with my ruler now? Wow, there we go. So 3 1/4 by 4. So let's do 2 3 1/4 by 4. just take that down. So that is 4, 3 1/4, 3 1/4. Do we want more flips and flaps? Can we wait for more flips and flaps? Do we not want to wait for more flips and flaps? So let's just grab an extra piece of that. So, 3 1/4. 4. 8. Oh, didn't want to do that. There we are. Cut that over there. And that's it, right. And I know I've got 4 pages. I have a plan. I have a plan. Right. Dear. That scoreboard is definitely not scoring brilliantly well today. There we are. So 2 of them can go into there, and then we can have 1, 2. That's that. That could go in a pocket. So 10.8. So let us. So we have some strips of paper. So let's just chop that, grab that, and then we can add a pocket into there. And a lot of the orchid that I don't particularly like can be hidden. There we are. So that is literally just a strip that was left. It's 25 plus years for me, it has to be said. There we go. That can go onto there. There we are. Just make sure you haven't put glue in the wrong place. There we are. Let's just. It surely would, Betty. It surely would be easier if they didn't keep on coming out with other stuff that we just have to have, you know, because that's what we like, aren't we? We all like. We all want new. We all like. I have to say that generally I prefer my distress inks to these, but yeah, they're very, very wet. There we are. Let's cover that up before we make a mess. So let's see what we have that can tuck into that pocket. Stick it onto the writing because it's going to sit comfortably on there. There we go. That can sit, so that one, which is the offcut size piece, can sit into there, into that pocket. And that one can go into the centre of there. Might just offset it a little bit, and then I can pop that onto there. Like that, right? And I want something to add onto there. So don't want life there, don't like the cats, I don't want that. I don't particularly want greetings. Life does not have to be perfect to be wonderful. That will work just nicely. And I'm just going to pop glue around the bottom half of here. So by doing that, I'm sort of extending my pocket up a little bit. There we are. Let's just pop that down with that. There we are. I think people are getting fed up and going, which is, I apologise if it's taking for ages, but I would rather have a project that I'm ultimately happy with than one that I wasn't happy with. So let's just put that into there. Let's tuck that over there. Go over there. Let's mop up that blue before it gets every which way, because that's what happens when you have a bright ink that you don't particularly want to get into everything. That's going to be inside. So let's pop this one onto here and then finish that, and then we'll do that inside piece. My mother taught me to sew, embroider, knit and crochet, although we used to draw and make things, so I've always been a crafter. So my mum was a needlewoman. She did the most beautiful embroidery. She made all of our clothes when we were young, and she used to knit. I was knitting probably from the age of about 5. Yeah, probably from about the age of 5. Let's see what we've got. That's going to be too big, but that one won't be. So yeah, and let's just leave this as a pocket or as a tuck spot, so I can put the pictures underneath. That can tuck down into there, deliberately off, because it's just giving space. It's a beautiful collection, beautiful, beautiful collection. Right, excuse the snuffles, it's never good, is it? Never good. I've no idea. Could someone tell me what time it is? I have no idea. I've not a clue. Not a clue, not a clue, not a clue. There we are. Oh, right. The minute you start to go live, it's when your nose decides to snuffle. It's just the law, isn't it? I did have a whole mountain of magnets out on my bench, but can I see what I've done with them? Kayak. There we are. Oh, there we are. Now I can see them. I can see them. They're on attached, hermetically attached to me cables. There we are. Stick those over there. Pop that over there. Ping that into place. Get those out of the way so they don't injure anyone else. Remove the tape. Can go onto there. So we now need a piece of paper that will sit onto there. Thank you, darling. So 3 by 3 3/4. We're not so far off, to be fair. I think we might. I think that's 3. You know, I don't think you can make a quick. Well, you can make a quick project, but if you're adding lots of layers, it just takes its time, doesn't it? And you know, and part of it is actually understanding or seeing how people layer stuff up. You know, the techniques are not, you know, I use the same processes for my makes. I change the sizes, I change the papers, but you'll see that I always add a little bit of stamping, a little bit of texture onto my mats. I might, you know, don't have to use them with inks, but yeah, it's up to you. There we are. Flowers are always for those. There are flowers for those who want to see them. Might work. An orchid is in a deep forest, cuts its fragrance if no one is around to appreciate it. So I'm just going to add these. Yeah, I could make my own clothes when I was a teenager. I often did. It's a useful skill to have when you are as vertically challenged as I am. And I can, if I want to, I can make this into a tuck. I won't make a piece to go into it, but you could, yeah, by again just popping those in, that can go there. Right, we just now need to add a little bit of detail on the inside, and you can see that I'm beginning to use up lots of bits and pieces, and I'm not worried about the identical stamping. I'm not worried about, do I want that whole piece? I don't really do. I don't think I do want that whole piece. Oh, she says up there, and I don't think that that's going to break nicely. So let's just take that little rub on to go there. Do I want to add anything else going there? I've got a little bit of an orchid there. Let's get rid of that piece. That can go over that. There we are. That piece can go across there. There we are. Clear the rubbish, clear the rubbish, clear the rubbish. Right. That one can go onto there. Thank you. As I say, it's a Stamperia collection, and they are just beautiful. They are just beautiful. There we are. Just make sure I haven't got any ink around there. So I do have you know, I can pop another piece into there if I want to. But there we are. So we now have a book that opens this way, that way, space for lots of pictures. So let's just get the front. That's the front. Right. I think these pieces are just too big for here. I could fussy cut out, but I'm not going to because I've got my things. So I am going to take out of here and keep the cover reasonably simple. I am aware that I need to add a tie, and I tend to like my ties to be both directions when I'm making this type of book. Just find it easier. Let's just take this, and I know I haven't scruffled up the edges of anything else, but I am going to scruffle up the edges of this. Because I want to. Now, I was just over 5 foot, I'm now just definitely under 5 foot, so there we are. Let's just scruffle up these edges. Just be careful, ladies, if you're doing this. Obviously I don't want to be responsible for people getting injured. I have some ribbon, if I can open it. Let's just chop that in half. So let's stick a piece of tape in the middle of there. It's going to be quick and effective. And then I can flatten this down approximately in the middle, so that's always a good start, isn't it? There we are. It's just there we are. Thank you. It's a hand-dyed piece of ribbon. I'm deliberately not popping that on all to the edges because it doesn't need to be, but that extra layer on there is going to help secure that ribbon in place, which will be good. That's natural dyed. There we are. That can go onto there. Let us just repeat that process. We could put a clock, but we're actually going to pick, and this might be deemed a tad extravagant, but hey ho. And I'm still going to have to think of another project to do with the remaining papers, because actually I've got a reasonable amount of it. So I might make a couple of cards equally to go in the box. So for those of you that aren't used to making albums, or then this is quite an easy way. You can see by adding the flips and the flats and the pockets, you can add quite a lot inside if you want to. The recording fold is quite accommodating because of the ribbons, because you don't have to have it closed tight. What was that? I don't know, because I bought it completely pre-dyed, but if I am going to dye ribbons, then I generally use fabric paint, and then just spritz it down, because you want something, and then I'll give it a good iron to set it, because you generally want to have something that is going to be, water fast, don't you, really, and not disturbing. So that's going to sit into there. She says, I do not like a snotty nose on a live. I do apologise, because it is not very nice. There we are. There we are. Pop that up onto there. Flatten those down. Flatten that down. Pop that onto there. So I think we might just pop that. Anyway, whilst the going is good, we now have that, and we need a sentiment to go on here. I definitely don't want life is better with cats, because that's not required. Let the beauty of what you love be what you do. There we are. So if I pop that into there, you're very welcome, Marisol. It took me a long time to get my knowledge. It seems silly not to use it. There we are. That can go onto there. That can go into there. I am aware that these are the wrong colour, but that's not a problem. That is not a problem, because we are now going to find our white paint, which we put out earlier on. There we are. We'll do that, and then we're going to grab my favourite scruffy brush. Let's get that. Actually, before I do that, so let me just grab, if I can find it. I don't want purple. I want magenta. What's the best thing I can't find? Magenta. No, we don't want that one. We don't want that one. We'll leave it. We'll leave it as it is. There we are. So brush that well and truly into the piece. So I've got my brush flat, and I know I'm being generous, and that's intentional. There we are. Pop that well into there. There we are. You can see that just oh, you can't see because I've truly off camera. I do apologise. There we are. Scruffy brushes, flat. There we are. That will take some of that off. That can go into the, ooh, well, that might have been more intelligent to dry brush the cats as well. So let's just pop that onto there. Let's use this. This wouldn't agree to what, my darling? There we are. Oh, I've got nearly out of this. I've got cats to add to the back, so let me just add some of that. We'll add one cat onto the back, so that can go onto there. That can go there. Do I want? Or do I not want? Or would I like just a cat down there? I think we're going to pop that one into there. There we are. Imminent danger of finishing a pot. Yeah, I do like that. There we are. Go there. He can go onto there. Thank you, Deirdre. You'll be delighted to know that all I have to do now is add a couple of cats. There. And then we are finished. So that one can go slightly up there, and that little one can go slightly down there. And that, ladies, is all I am intending doing today. I will photograph this and will put it up at some point this week on my Facebook page, possibly as a reel, possibly as a post. So thank you very much for watching. Do take care. Enjoy the week ahead. I am live for Pentart on Tuesday, so hope to see you then. Bye.